It began in chaos and blood, a fortune born from cannon fire and the screams of dying men. A treasure so vast, it demanded a tomb unlike any other in history. Legends whisper it was the plunder of Captain Kidd himself, or perhaps the lost jewels of Marie Antoinette. A prize worth damning one's soul for. The price of this treasure was not paid in gold, but in lives. A pact sealed in secrecy and buried with an ingenuity that bordered on the demonic. From the fury of the open sea, the secret was carried to a quiet, unassuming island in the North Atlantic. A place that would become a graveyard for dreams. This is Oak Island. An obsession that has spanned over 2 centuries, consumed fortunes, and claimed lives. It is a story of a hole in the ground that has swallowed the ambitions of all who dared to challenge it. Our story begins not with kings or admirals, but with 3 teenage boys in 1795. Drawn by strange lights and local legends of pirate ghosts. Beneath a great oak, they found a circular depression in the earth. A place the local folklore warned against, a place that felt wrong. With youthful ambition, they began to dig. They could not know they were prying the lid from a Pandora's box of obsession and ruin. Just 2 feet down, their shovels struck stone. Not bedrock, but a layer of carefully laid flagstones, a deliberate and unnatural seal. 10 feet deeper, they hit something else, a platform of solid oak logs. The wood was embedded in the clay walls, another seal, another layer of the puzzle. At 20 feet, another platform. At 30 feet, a third. This was not a cellar or a well. This was a sophisticated, engineered structure, designed to protect something of immense value. Their simple tools and youthful strength were no match for the deepening enigma. Defeated, they abandoned their search, but the seed of the Oak Island mystery had been planted. Years passed. The story of the boys' discovery festered, becoming a local legend whispered in taverns and around hearths. It drew the attention of wealthier men, men with resources and a hunger for glory. In 1803, the Onslow Company was formed, and the first organized assault on the money pit began. The Onslow Company dug deeper, past the boys' final mark. Every 10 feet, another oak platform, a maddening repetition confirming the scale of the original work. They discovered layers of charcoal, putty, and coconut fiber. The coconut fiber was a shocking anomaly, a product of the tropics, thousands of miles from the cold shores of Nova Scotia. Then, at 90 feet, their tools struck a large, flat stone. A stone bearing an inscription that would become the very heart of the Oak Island legend. The symbols were a mystery, a cipher from an unknown hand. One amateur translation, now famous, offered a tantalizing and chilling clue: 40 feet below, 2 million pounds lie buried. This was the proof they needed, the confirmation of their wildest dreams. With renewed fervor, they prepared to dig the final 40 feet to glory. But the island had other plans. The original builders had not just hidden their treasure, they had protected it with a masterpiece of hydraulic engineering. The next morning, they returned to find the pit filled with over 60 feet of water. The treasure, once seemingly within their grasp, was now submerged, guarded by the sea itself. They had triggered a booby trap. A sophisticated system of man-made flood tunnels, connected to the nearby Smith's Cove, designed to use the ocean as an eternal, self-renewing guardian. The Onslow Company was ruined. They spent 2 years and a fortune attempting to bail out the sea, only to be defeated by its inexhaustible supply. The island had claimed its first financial victims. For the next 40 years, the pit lay dormant, a watery grave of ambition. The legend only grew, embellished with every telling, attracting a new generation of believers. In 1849, the Truro Company arrived, armed with the hubris of new technology. They brought a steam-powered pump and a horse-driven pod auger, convinced they could conquer the island's defenses. Their drilling brought up tantalizing clues. At 98 feet, the auger passed through a spruce platform. Then it hit layers of what felt like loose metal, gold coins, the drillers claimed. The auger then passed through another oak platform, and then another, before dropping into a second void. They had broken through to what they believed was the main treasure chamber. Upon retrieving the drill, they found something astonishing. Attached to the auger tip were 3 small links of an ancient, hand-wrought gold chain. But the island was not yet finished. In a disastrous attempt to drain the main pit by digging a parallel shaft, a catastrophic accident occurred. The bottom of the money pit collapsed inward. The treasure, if it was ever there, had now fallen deeper into the island's grasp. The Truro Company, like the Onslow before them, limped away in financial ruin. It is here the story turns darker. The island began to demand a higher price than mere money. It began to demand blood. In 1861, during an attempt to pump the pit dry, a boiler on a steam engine exploded. 1 man was killed instantly, and several others were horribly scalded. The island had claimed its first life. A prophecy, of unknown origin, began to circulate. It stated that 7 men must die before the treasure of Oak Island would be found. 1 was now dead, with 6 to go. This curse, whether real or imagined, cast a long shadow over all future expeditions. It transformed the search from a treasure hunt into a Gothic tale of obsession and death. Syndicate after syndicate arrived, each believing they were the ones to solve the puzzle. The Oak Island Association, the Oak Island Treasure Company, each name a testament to unwavering hope. In 1897, a searcher named Maynard Kaiser was being hoisted from one of the many shafts. The rope slipped, and he fell to his death. The curse had claimed its second victim. The searchers became scholars of their own failure. They documented every attempt, every theory, creating a vast and morbid archive of the island's resistance. Theories proliferated, each more elaborate than the last. Was it pirate treasure? A Spanish naval hoard? The lost manuscripts of Shakespeare, secreted away by Francis Bacon? Perhaps the most persistent theory involved the Knights Templar. Fleeing persecution in Europe, they supposedly carried their immense treasure, and perhaps the Holy Grail itself, to this remote island sanctuary. This idea transformed the money pit from a simple vault into a sacred hiding place. It elevated the searchers from mere gold diggers to participants in a holy quest. The 20th century brought new tools of destruction. Dynamite, massive cranes, and industrial drills were unleashed upon the island, scarring its surface in the name of discovery. A young Franklin Delano Roosevelt, later to become President of the United States, was among the captivated. He was a long-time investor and follower of the hunt, a testament to the mystery's powerful allure. But technology could not defeat the island's curse. The flooding continued, shafts collapsed, and the treasure remained stubbornly out of reach. In 1959, Robert Restall, a former daredevil, moved his entire family to the island, dedicating his life to solving the mystery. His obsession would have the most tragic consequences. One fateful day in 1965, Robert Restall was overcome by poisonous gas at the bottom of a deep shaft. His son, Robert Jr., went in to save him. He too was overcome. 2 of their partners, Carl Grazer and Cyril Hiltz, followed in a panicked chain of rescue attempts. All 4 men perished in the blackness. The curse's toll had now reached 6. The prophecy was nearing its grim fulfillment. The island had turned from a mystery into a malevolent entity. The Restall tragedy drew international attention. It cemented the island's reputation as a deadly puzzle box, attracting a new type of searcher, the well-funded, technologically advanced consortium. Dan Blankenship and David Tobias formed Triton Alliance. They would spend decades and millions of dollars waging a technological war against the island. They drilled Borehole 10X, a shaft located 180 feet from the original money pit. What their underwater cameras saw there would redefine the entire mystery. The grainy footage appeared to show a man-made cavern deep underground. Inside, there were objects that looked like treasure chests, tools, and most chillingly, a human body. But the cavern was a phantom. Subsequent dives and camera drops could never relocate the exact spot. The island gave a glimpse of its heart, then snatched it away. Triton's efforts also uncovered more of the flood tunnel system at Smith's Cove. They found a U-shaped structure of logs and the remnants of an ancient coffer dam, proof of a massive construction project. Decades passed. Dan Blankenship grew old on the island, a modern Ahab chained to his white whale. His belief never wavered, even as his funds and his health dwindled. The mystery seemed destined to fade into obscurity, another unsolved legend. Until 2 brothers from Michigan, who had been captivated by the story since childhood, decided to take up the quest. Rick and Marty Lagina, armed with a fortune from Marty's energy business and a team of experts, purchased a controlling interest in the island. The modern era of the treasure hunt had begun. Their approach was different. It was a fusion of brute force excavation and meticulous scientific analysis, a respect for both the legend and the land. They reinvestigated all the key sites, the Money Pit, Smith's Cove, and Borehole 10X. They brought metal detectors, ground-penetrating radar, and seismic testing to bear on the mystery. In Smith's Cove, their massive coffer dam held back the ocean, allowing them to excavate the beach more thoroughly than ever before. They confirmed the existence of the box drains and the U-shaped structure. And they found something new. A stone-paved pathway, like a Roman road, leading from the U-shaped structure directly inland. A path for moving something very heavy. In the island's swamp, they found another anomaly. A ship-shaped object buried in the mud, and carbon dating that placed it hundreds of years before the Money Pit's discovery. But their most significant finds came from the soil itself, sifted from the spoils of past excavations. A Spanish coin from the 17th century. A Roman pilum. And a lead cross, potentially of Templar origin. Each find is a breadcrumb, a piece of a puzzle with no picture on the box. They point to multiple groups, multiple time periods, deepening the mystery rather than solving it. The team has drilled dozens of new boreholes around the Money Pit area, a strategy they call the Big Dig. They are hunting for the original pit and the treasure chests the Truro Company claimed to have hit. They've brought up fragments of old wood, dated to the correct time period. They've found evidence of underground tunnels and chambers. They are closer than anyone has ever been. One of their most compelling discoveries is the Money Pit shaft, a deep void with signs of digging, and at its base, what appears to be a tunnel heading in a specific direction. But the island continues to resist. The ground is unstable, a honeycomb of old searcher shafts and natural geology. Every foot gained is a battle against collapse and flooding. And the curse lingers. Though no one has died on the Lagina's watch, the prophecy of 7 dead remains unfulfilled. The specter of the sixth victim is a constant, unspoken presence. After more than 2 centuries of searching, what have we truly learned? We have learned that something happened on this island a very long time ago. Something that required incredible effort and engineering. The evidence for a buried treasure is circumstantial, yet tantalizing. The coconut fiber, the gold chain, the inscribed stone, the complex flood tunnels, they all scream of a deliberate, hidden deposit. But there are also compelling arguments for a natural phenomenon. The island's geology is a labyrinth of limestone and gypsum, prone to sinkholes and underground caverns that could mimic man-made shafts. Could the money pit be a natural sinkhole, misinterpreted by the first boys? Could the oak platforms be debris that fell in and settled at regular intervals? Some geologists believe so. And what of the artifacts? Critics argue they could be nothing more than lost items, dropped by centuries of visitors, from sailors to farmers to the searchers themselves. A collection of coincidences. The 90-foot stone, the cornerstone of the legend, has been lost for over a century. Its inscription exists only in memory and second-hand accounts, its most famous translation likely a fanciful invention. This leaves us in a state of profound uncertainty. A place where history, geology, and folklore are so intertwined as to be inseparable. A Rorschach test for belief. Is Oak Island a treasure story, or is it a story about the nature of treasure stories? A testament to the human need for mystery, for quests, for the belief that something incredible lies just beneath the surface of the ordinary world. The real treasure of Oak Island may not be gold or jewels. It may be the story itself, a story of obsession, of ingenuity, of tragedy, and of the unbreakable hope that drives us to dig just one more foot. For 200 years, men have tried to conquer this small island. But the island has always won. It guards its secrets with water, with earth, and with time. The original constructors, whoever they were, created more than a vault, they created a myth. A perfectly engineered enigma designed to outlast empires. The human cost has been immense. Fortunes have been squandered, reputations ruined, and lives extinguished in pursuit of what lies beneath. Each generation brings its own tools, its own theories. But the fundamental questions remain unanswered. Who? What? When? And most importantly, why? The pursuit of knowledge can be a dangerous thing. Like the scholars of dark academia, the searchers of Oak Island are driven by a hunger for a truth that may be ruinous. Is it possible that there is nothing there? That the entire 2-century saga is a grand folly, a feedback loop of hope and misinterpretation built on a natural sinkhole? This is perhaps the most terrifying possibility. Not that the treasure is cursed, but that it never existed at all. That the only thing at the bottom of the money pit is more mud. Yet, the clues persist. The lead cross. The paved structure. The evidence of human activity, far too complex to be easily dismissed. The island exists in a quantum state of possibility. It is both a treasure vault and an empty hole. Both an engineering marvel and a geological accident. Perhaps the purpose of the money pit was never to be opened. Perhaps it is a time capsule, a message in a bottle, designed to be perpetually sought but never found. The Lagina brothers and their team continue to dig. They are driven by the belief that technology and determination can finally solve what centuries of effort could not. They carry the weight of all who came before them. The hopes of the first 3 boys, the ruin of the Onslow and Truro companies, the ghosts of the 6 who died. Whether they find gold or myth, their quest has become the definitive chapter in this epic tale. A story that will be told as long as there are mysteries left in the world. The search continues. The mystery endures. And the island waits.